trouble. Kurt Busch. Inside wall. And somehow again,
I'm out of fuel. I'm out of fuel and I got wrecked, guys. Why am I out of gas?
That's very interesting that they all were. What was that?
Stop, Kurt. They want you to stop right now. They want you to
I
stop.
think that was some of the safety equipment that
hear
they
him. He's
put
got
up
his,
there.
yeah,
They want you to stop.
got his helmet off. He's not hearing them. Yeah.
It's mandatory. If you
They want you to
crash.
stop, Kurt. They want you to stop.
With both his, the bag of the safety workers' equipment on top of the roof of the car. NASCAR has told.
In 2012, the playoff race at Talladega saw one of the dominant cars of the day, Kurt Busch, get spun off of Jimmy McMurray's nose, and he went hard into the inside wall and damaged the rear of his race car. Well, as the safety team came to help Kurt Busch out, and he was already stopped, and it looked like his day was done, his race car was completely smashed in, and he was stopped on the track, waiting for the safety people to come help him out and then hook him up to the tow truck. But what does Kurt Busch do? When the safety people get there and put their safety equipment on top of his race car, he just peels out and leaves. The safety equipment went all over the racetrack, and NASCAR parked Kurt Busch and said, "You were done for the entire rest of the race." What about a rule after the race? Joe Logano was upset with Austin Dillon after Richmond in 2024 and went and did a burnout right in front of Austin Dillon's pit crew and his family as they were trying to join him on the racetrack. When a NASCAR official saw this across pit road, Logano got out of his race car and was screamed at by a NASCAR official because this is something that's extremely uncalled for in NASCAR. Pit road is supposed to be a safe space for teams to walk around after the end of the race, and Logano made it unsafe, and he made it extremely dangerous for anybody around that area.
Bessie trying to avoid going a lap down. He is on the.
There he goes.
He is one lap down, trying to avoid going 2 laps down. And Bessie gets into the wall.
The Earnhardt got just same thing a while ago with Dillon. He got tired of waiting for him to get out of the way, so he just helps him a little bit.
We have the black flag out. Let's watch. Here it comes. The black flag is going out for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Tough break.
A little too aggressive tonight. Oh boy,
That's gotta hurt.
they have got to be really disheartened. There's Tony Eury Sr. not happy at all. Let's go to Glenn Terry.
Well, Dale Jr. has brought the car in right now, and we'll find out from Tony Eury what the penalty is. Tony a little upset right now, doesn't want to talk. We're hearing it is a 1-lap penalty. They have pleaded their case to NASCAR, but to no avail.
In 1998, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had the dominant car of the night in the NASCAR Grand National Series. He was easily the car to beat, up until he intentionally crashed a lapped car trying to get him out of his way to continue on his race. NASCAR immediately handed out the black flag to Earnhardt Jr. and penalized him 1 lap. No matter what he said and pleaded on the radio for, NASCAR stood their ground, and Dale Jr. lost that race because of this accident.
That way, that's right.
Okay, here's today's helmet tossing event. Wow, that was pretty gutsy. It's like a bullfighter.
Tony about to run over the helmet.
Making sure he doesn't.
You know, Michael, everybody thinks Michael's this good guy. He's not the good guy like he actually is. The caution was out, and he wrecked me, and he's a piece of shit.
And just listening to some NASCAR traffic on the radio, and NASCAR has warned all the teams and their drivers to settle down, that they will not only park them for this race, but for future races.
And they should.
If there's any more poor behavior.
This New Hampshire race in 2005 was so chaotic that in the middle of the race, it seemed like Robbie Gordon had pulled the last straw for NASCAR officials. They brought the teams down pit road and warned them and said, "You're not going to keep driving like this. If anybody keeps driving under these circumstances of taking each other out, tempers boiling over, or any of that shenanigans," that NASCAR was not afraid to park that driver for the current race and for future races. If that isn't breaking a rule, I don't know what is, when the entire field gets a warning like that. That is wild.
Green flag is in the air. We're racing in Phoenix.
sparks flying from underneath the 48. There is a penalty early on the start of this race. The 41 of Kurt Busch was in front of the 48 at the start-finish line, and so NASCAR has told them that is a pass-through penalty for Kurt Busch. Already, Kurt Busch now in a situation where he will have to fight back from this.
Remember, the flagman starts the race at the start of the race. The flagman starts the race. So the rule is, when the green flag falls, the leader has to go. Not 100% sure why NASCAR is making this call.
Wow, what could have been? Kurt Busch started on the front row in the second to last race of the season, needing to win to make the Final Four, and he had a fast enough car to do so that night. But unfortunately, not even before lap number 2, Kurt Busch was already set behind after he got a penalty for beating Jimmy Johnson to the start-finish line. The funny thing enough is NASCAR actually changed this rule immediately following this race, saying as long as a leader goes, you can beat the leader to the start-finish line. So Kurt Busch got screwed even more after this.
See that right rear of that forged glass? Is it bowed down? Yeah, kind of where the jack, between the orange jack screw and the black lining, it's bowed from the right side of the jack screw over. Yeah, right by the K. When he's up to speed, I think pushes down about, I don't know, 2 inches, 3 inches.
Early on in the season in 2018, Kevin Harvick in the 4 team was flat out dominating week in and week out. When Harvick picked up his second win of the season at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, there was a rumor searching around on Reddit, and Harvick was busted. The rear brace that would hold the windshield in actually was manufactured to make the windshield kind of cave in. It created extra downforce on the spoiler for the 4 team and made his cars go extremely fast. Now that is a rule you are not allowed to break in NASCAR. The safety with those windshields needs to be precise, and to try to get an aero advantage was extremely frowned upon by NASCAR, and they stripped the win away from Harvick. Just 6 months later in the same season, Kevin Harvick would win at Texas and have that win stripped away from him as he would modify the rear spoiler of the race car. Apparently, teams were handed spoilers by NASCAR before the race weekend. The 4 team modified it, and it failed post-race inspection, costing Harvick the win at Texas Motor Speedway.
To the outside wall,
Right side. Go to the garage. Done.
He's on the outside of Austin Dillon. There's contact in turn 2.
It wasn't the 3's fault. Just take our lumps, you know, just shouldn't be there. I don't know what our problem is, but the M&M's Camry was not very good, and we're running terrible, and we got wrecked.
Kyle Busch may be one of the greatest NASCAR drivers to ever live, but even he could do some stupid things on or off the racetrack. Kyle Busch drove in the wall off of turn number 2 at Darlington, and then proceeded to drive straight through the garage area and hit a bunch of cones and almost hit some pedestrians. Busch was fined $50,000 for an unsafe entry into the garage area at Darlington after crashing.
Green flag.
If they don't get by Jeff Gordon before they come around the next time, they will not pass it. And
Michael Waltrip. Jeff Green is involved.
Jeff Gordon spinning down the inside.
Gordon is in the grass. They're racing for the lead at the head of the pack, double wide.
Stay below the white line. You got some people out there. There you go.
Sterling Marlin, he's got damage. He must have hit Gordon.
Well, I'm sure he's checked. He may have been wondering how that right front damage looks.
The car. Sterling Marlin is jumping out of his car. He's going around to look at the right front fender. But, he can't do that.
You can't work on your car under the red flag. That's the NASCAR rule.
Pull it off a little bit.
You're not allowed to work on your car under the red flag.
Darrell, his first lap, not great, 49.62, but I did notice he ran about as high as you can run on lap 1, which that means when you come to the bottom as he is now, you should pick up a little more than what you've seen on the normal 5 to 6 tenths.
He's going to be right on Skinner's back bumper, if not just right in front of it.
Right now it looks like he's flirting with maybe a 48.90, right in that neighborhood. 48.94, and that's just 1 notch quicker than Regan Smith. But you know what? It could end up being that close as to who gets in and who misses this Daytona 500.
Kyle Busch is supposed to be the first across the start-finish line, but there are 2 lines
in this zone. And let's go back and go through this, Andy. Take us through.
Okay, Marty, this is the restart zone. It starts right here. This is a double line on the wall, and it starts right there. That's where you can go. Now, if you don't go in this zone, now this is where you have to go, this line here. If you don't go in between those two lines, the starter, the flagman, is going to go ahead and throw the green flag, and the race is going to start. Kyle Busch did not go between those two lines, and that's what caused this pileup. This is a case where, you know, if Brad Keselowski beats him to the line and he gets the lead going in turn 1, they can black flag the 22.
Now, let's listen to what Kyle said about it on the radio.
So what happens when the number 1 starter beats the number 2 starter to the line? Vice versa. Number 2 beats number 1.
It's going to be one of those deals where they're going to say, well, if he gives it back to you, you know.
They make a big deal out of it every drivers' meeting, so I thought it was a black flag, but because caution came out, they're going to let it slide.
After all the controversy was settled out and Brad Keselowski was able to retain the lead on the restart, Kyle Busch was furious. He knew that he had to make a statement, and that's what he did. On the very next restart, Kyle Busch would intentionally jump the restart to get ahead of Brad Keselowski, even though Keselowski was the leader. When NASCAR saw this, they were extremely upset at Kyle Busch and immediately black flagged him.
Yeah, they are going to post the 18 car, and they're going to put his number up on the board and put the black flag on it.
They're posting, that's right here.
All right, let's listen in, see what happens on the radio. All right, Kyle tucks back in, lets him go around.
Okay, the rule is if he does that immediately, then he won't get the black flag. I'm not sure how they'll view that as far as giving that spot back.
Well, you heard Jason say, just bring it. So the 18 has got to do a passer. Now, he has led 124 laps here. Here he comes. Driver leading the most laps has won 9 of the last 10. And listen to the crowd.
Pass through.
Now, you think you've seen Kyle Busch mad after a race before? Wait till he gets out of the car after this one. This cat is flat going to be mad.
Yeah, he arguably had the best car in the car to beat tonight.
Even after NASCAR tried to black flag the 18 and send him to the back of the field, he had a car that was so strong it was able to rally back up towards the front. Out of 5 laps to go, he was able to make the pass on Brad Keselowski, and he never looked back. Busch was able to pick up the win after a controversial night at Phoenix. In 2017, at the time, nobody knew, but this would be Matt Kenseth's final full-time season in a competitive race car, and he had a great shot at making the championship for that year. It was a round of 12 when he got eliminated, but it was because of some weird rules that he broke and got parked during the race, which would disqualify him from the playoffs, essentially. Matt Kenseth was caught up in a wreck late at Kansas. His team went to work on his race car, but they had too many pit crew members over the wall. With NASCAR's new damaged vehicle policy, you were allowed a certain amount of time to fix the car, but only a certain amount of crew members that could go over the wall and repair it. Kenseth's pit crew exceeded that number that NASCAR allowed, and NASCAR parked him. Kenseth would ultimately miss out on the round of 8 in the playoffs, and would unfortunately not have a shot at another championship in his career.
Going to Phoenix! That was a determined, savvy drive. And look at that, right at the end, Christopher Bell drives his way in as well. Right at the very end, look at Adam Stevens.
I think the 20 past the 23 coming to the line for the 1 point that he needed.
This is it. Watch this, the 23 and the 20. He went for it, almost lost control, hits the wall, drives off the wall, sort of Ross Chastain-esque.
Gonna be a lot of conversation in the NASCAR tower about the entire finish of this race between all the cars racing for points, but what a drive by Blaney.
Unfortunately for Christopher Bell, NASCAR would crack down on his move and deem it as a safety violation. Christopher Bell would be disqualified if his lead lap finished and placed last in the lead lap, losing all his points he had earned in that race. Unfortunately for Bell, he was unable to make the championship 4 after wall riding, which was banned in NASCAR in 2022. But also, that wasn't the only shenanigans going on at that race that you're not allowed to do. NASCAR has a rule called the 100% rule. You have to drive 100% every lap. You are not allowed to lay over for a manufacturer, a team, or even a family member. But unfortunately, NASCAR didn't put the hammer down on other teams like they did Bell. Ross Chastain and Austin Dillon were essentially roadblocks for William Byron to help him not lose positions, to help him make the final round in the playoffs. It worked. Byron made it and didn't even get penalized. This is by far one of the most controversial calls that's ever been made.
10 to go at the line here, 10 to go at the line. 5 back 11, then 10 to the 24. 24 and 20 are separated by a point right now. Sorry, 3 to go at the line, 3. I think I got a tire going down. 10-4, just nurse it home, nurse it home. Hold it up top, coming to the white.
So, information from the spotter to Bubba Wallace. Bubba claims he has a tire going down. That explains his speed down the backstretch. NASCAR is going to through these same radios that we have. Then we saw the pass by Christopher Bell. The slide job on the 23 got him into the wall. Then there will be question mark on the second half of that corner where he was absolutely against the wall, and how NASCAR sees if that's within or out of bounds.
So here's the radio from the 3 of Austin Dillon.
You know the deal? Trying to find him to tell him. Justin, you tell crew chief also clear off. Out they go! 10-4, does the 1 crew chief know the deal? Yeah, he should.
Yeah, so there you go. You hear communication about the 3 and the 1 car. And so now let's go listen to the 1 car.
Nice and smart with the 24 here down there, door. 24 is 1 to the good, 1 point to the good. Down there, even. 6 is lined up with the 3.
If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, if you've liked this video, I'm pretty sure these videos will catch your eye also.